Very interesting panel. What is this television?
Hook up Smash Brothers to it.
We play?
Well, I don't have the game, but I can technically hook up my Switch to it.
That would be awesome.
I didn't bring my dock.
With you today, then you panel, and then you signing. I'll do the
The reason only a mile
So I'll
away.
just go right from here to the side.
Yeah,
Figure that out.
you panel from 12:30 to 2. You don't have to do that long, but then you're signing at 2:30, so whatever
Cool.
you want.
Yeah.
It's up to you.
I'll adjust that.
But I'll be in the back. I'll pop in and out. I'll do the 5 and 10.
You got it.
Right, baby, you want to start?
That'll be my business.
Hey guys.
Another thing that's
Welcome to my panel. I think most of you guys were here yesterday, yeah?
Yep.
Remember you guys? Remember you? Weren't there? Okay, cool.
How's it work?
Many unresolved questions from yesterday that will finally be answered. My name is Ray Chase. I'm a voice actor. I'm the voice of Noctis in Final Fantasy, Roy, Super Smash Brothers, even Nier Automata, Master of Masters in Kingdom Hearts, Pori Pori Prisoner in One Punch Man, whole bunch of stuff. You can find it on Behind the Voice Actors is actually a pretty good site for finding that, more than IMDb. Now I'm at the point where IMDb is like, people just put stuff on there that I'm not in, and I don't understand what to do about that. It's really tough. I remember when I was first starting out as an actor, I would always put my stuff on there first to make sure like I would get the credit for it, and now it's taking stuff off. Oh, and Mitsurugi in Soul Calibur 6 just came out. 2B is going to be in Soul Calibur 6, was announced this morning. That's going to be awesome. She's going to be a great fit for this game. This is just a regular Q&A panel. If you guys have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Yeah, go for it.
I don't know a lot about voice acting, but just curious on like how much information you get before taking a part.
So it depends on a lot on what kind of thing you're doing. For an anime, you usually get none, but for an anime, you're able to watch the anime, usually. Now we're at a
so
time.
like Japanese and say you're just taking that character.
Exactly, yeah, and so you can watch it beforehand. It's getting tough now because Netflix is doing a lot of anime now, like a lot more than you think.
Yeah.
Whatever's out there right now is a tenth of what we're working on now. What we're working on now is mostly Netflix stuff that's unannounced. That's just that they're just doing simultaneously Japanese and English releases. So those ones we can't watch beforehand. But if it's say Osomatsu, for example, I'm able to just go on Verve and watch them all before recording. Yeah, I'm Karamatsu in that one. We're recording that now. So for an anime, you're able to watch it beforehand, and that really helps. For a video game, you usually get nothing beforehand. They're starting to send out scripts beforehand, which is really nice, but they're not. But because video game scripts are so long and unwieldy, I understand why you can't. Like I'm working on a game right now that has a lot of dialogue trees, and a script for that would just look like a madhouse. So I understand why they can't just send you like a movie script ahead of time. But usually the difficulty with video games is you don't get the character art until after the game is released. You find out what your character even looked like. Yeah, and that can be frustrating for sure. But I think we had a strike a couple of years ago about that kind of stuff, about not knowing what game you're working on or what roles you even have. And it was a long strike. It was over a year, but we got it, and things are really improving in that respect, which is really nice. Yeah. Thanks. Any more questions?
Are you doing character questions?
Of course, yeah.
Of course. This one's actually from a friend. She wasn't able to come here. She wanted to know how Noctis, if he hadn't already been betrayed to Luna, would have proposed.
How he would have proposed to Luna?
Yeah.
That's so weird because he's just betrothed, so
Royalty,
he
yeah.
would just, How would Luna propose, how would he propose to Luna?
Luna could propose to him.
I think Luna's more likely to propose to Noctis. He's such a, he's so, scared about that kind of stuff, and anytime Iris asks him on a date, he goes, I don't know about that. I think, but what he would do, here's what he would do. In keeping with the themes of the game, he'd ask his friends to help. So I think it would be like a setup, like a cool, almost like a prank sort of thing where she thinks like Noctis in danger and she has to go save him. Gladio's like, come on, we gotta go get him. And they're going all over Dusky, and they're trying to track him down, and Ignis says, get in the car, let's go. And they're all driving around, and Prompto swoops in on those crazy Magitech brooms that they ride. And then they go on this crazy thing to save Noct, and then at the end he says, you are my savior. Will you be mine forever? I think it'd be something like that, yeah. That's how Noctis would do it. Good question.
That's adorable.
Yes?
In the next DLC.
Yeah.
This is actually dealing with the Master of Masters
Yes.
back cover. Have you had any thoughts
Thank
on
you very
what
much.
he might have actually looked like?
Yeah, it's funny. I just can't imagine him having like crazy Organization 13 anime hair. I just don't see it because he doesn't have that attitude that all those other organization members are like.
Oh no, he's definitely very different from the others.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just imagine he just looks totally normal. At least that's what it was. Maybe he's even bald. Like, because you can see
That
his.
would be surprising.
You can see his mouth in some of the
In some parts.
parts, and he just looks totally normal and hairless. So I'd imagine I'd imagine he's just completely bald under there.
What would you think on Lushu?
I just think it's just Max Middleman. That's all I think. Lushu, yeah, I think he could be more of like how Xeon looks, just kind of normal-ish, but not as crazy and extravagant as like Axel. Something like that.
Yeah. Nobody can top Axel.
Right. Hi guys, welcome. We're just doing regular Q&As. If you got questions, go for it. Yes, Noct?
Unfortunately, my friend could not be here.
Yeah.
So she was wondering if, she wanted me to ask if she was wondering if Prompto would have been in MegaCon. But I was over here saying that's mad disrespectful. So can you do me a big favor and answer her question and roast on her?
Yeah, wait, just for thinking that Prompto is going to be at a different con? I'm confused. Your friend is confusing me.
My friend wanted to know if Prompto will be at MegaCon next year.
Oh, at MegaCon next year. But she wasn't interested in me.
No, she's
That's
not.
the problem.
Yeah.
Why would you be interested in a side character? It's called Noctis Fantasy 15. Dang it. Oh, no, it's not. Damn it.
Boy Band Simulator.
Yeah.
Boy Band Simulator. No, it's all good. Robbie's my friend. You can like Robbie. I like his games too. What he just did, the Fist of the North Star game, which just came out. It's really, really nice. He did a great job with his crazy, manly, deep voice. No, it's all good. And I hope to go to MegaCon next year. That'd be really fun. I haven't been invited. I think Max went last year.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, but yeah, no, it hasn't happened yet. Your friend's cool.
Do you have any plans for any other Florida cons?
You know what's weird is for next year, so this year I have Anime NYC and Youmacon, the last ones, and then next year, I don't have anything on the books, unfortunately. We haven't
Like something in
gotten
February.
invited. February, I do?
Well, it's
Oh, gosh.
like a con schedule that you and Robbie had something scheduled for February.
What is it?
They don't tell me.
Katsucon?
Katsucon. Oh yeah. Okay, we have that one. Okay, so we have one con for next year.
Like, what do you want my date code?
Yeah, that's in Washington. But no, I know we have a good relationship with MetroCon. So I know Robbie's been a number of years and I went once. But yeah, I'd love to. You guys have so many conventions. It's really cool. I've been to Tampa 3 times in the last year. It's nuts.
Yeah, it's my first
South
time.
Florida and like Supercon.
Wait, there's SuperCon and there's MegaCon?
Well, MegaCon is Central Florida.
Yes.
SuperCon stays in like the Miami area.
Wow.
Yeah.
You guys have so many cons. It's crazy.
And there's Holiday Matsuri coming up at the end of the year.
Holiday Matsuri, where is that?
Orlando.
Orlando. Tell them to invite me. I'll come out.
Well, then all it takes
You'll
is
love
just,
it.
They reach out to you or?
We're not, we can't do anything. We can ask politely, but if there's if fans want it, then they'll ask. So yeah, we can't do anything about it, unfortunately. Yeah. So yes, please tell cons to bring me out. I don't know how ShadowCon first found out about me. But that's how I met Rudy and Adriana 2 years ago, I think. And that was me and Robbie came out for that one. That was my first time ever in Tampa. And I think I guess it's just because Rudy just loves Final Fantasy, and that's what it was. So yeah, I would never know to reach out to him, unfortunately. So he found me and sought me out. That's how it works. Yeah, so please tell.
Yeah, they cancel ShadowCon this year
Yes.
because of some problem for the hotel. Supposed to be next month,
Gotcha.
in
Yeah.
a couple weeks. But
Cool.
they canceled it because some problem with the hotel stuff.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, it was. Yeah, definitely. Rudy and Adriana are really, really cool to work with. So yeah, anything they do, I'll follow them around. They're awesome people. Yeah, go for it.
Are you going to the Final Fantasy Ball?
Oh, I will be at the Final Fantasy Ball. I will be in cosplay at the Final Fantasy Ball.
Nice.
Yes, me and Julia. It's gonna be really cool.
Cool.
We did a con called EXP Con over in the World Golf Resort, which is a weird place. And there's a cosplay artist, Even Star Cosplay, Ridley, who's in the ball tonight as Arden. It was the first time that the four bros were ever in the same room together. And she said, wow, this is going to be awesome. Let's have you guys all cosplay your characters. And she made all of us cosplay. It was insane. So not only was it the first time meeting everybody at the same time, but also seeing them as their characters. That was really, really cool. We did a lot of fun photo shoots. We recreated the cover. It was really, really
The
fun.
car was there, wasn't it?
And this dude from Holland came and rented a regalia and drove it down. And so we took pictures in front of the car. It was insane. What a crazy con that was. That was nuts. Really, really nuts. Yeah, go for it.
Just to clarify, you're part of the Bloodstained project, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's it like being part of that, the backer project, games like that?
There's that one, and there's a new one that's being kickstarted right now called Midnight Wave. Called Midnight Wave. And that was cool. They invited me on that and said, would you please be a part? Bloodstained was very different because I guess they had a lot of money, so they went union. And so it just came through my agency as a regular agency audition, like any other one. So that one, that was awesome, and it was one that I'd been following for a long time because Rocket Sound was the one who put that one together, and they're the ones who recorded all of Final Fantasy 15. So I know Rocket Sound really, really well. And Rocket Sound is just 3 people. It's the owner, it's the guy who does everything, and then it's the community outreach lady, and they do everything. Really, really cool company. I love working with them. And so they know Igarashi-san, who created Castlevania, or worked on Castlevania series. And I've met him a couple of times at cons, so maybe he knew me or something, I don't know, but it was really cool to play Jeeble, who's the main bad guy in that one. And I'm sorry that it's delayed again. Such a bummer, but it looks really good, and it was really fun to work on. And I also play another character in it too, which will be really, really fun. He's like a character customization guy. He's really fun.
Because I actually have a friend that actually is part of the community where they work on the backers for the Bloodstained, so I always get my updates from him.
Oh, very cool.
And even though before I knew you were in it, I backed the game up, and he says, "Oh, by the way, great Chase Q&A," and I'm like, okay. So, but I was wondering what, again, it's games being backed by the community is way different from say from Square Enix, they just pull whatever stocking they would have and be like, okay, here's the budget, here's the game. So I was wondering if there's like some difference.
Well, it's still, because even though it's backed by the community, it's not managed by the community. So it is pretty similar to working on a any other sort of title. Because there's, I think it's called 505 Games are the people who are creating it, and so I worked with them on it directly. So it's just like working with any other game studio.
Okay.
So on the other hand, what is very different, there's a mod for Fallout New Vegas, which is my favorite game, called The Frontier. And I saw it's set in Portland, or it's set around Oregon. And I saw a trailer for it, and I loved it so much, I was like, can I please be a part of this for free? I just really want to work on it. And they said yes. And that's just like 10 people all around the world working at their computers. So that's very different, because I do it at my house. They'll send me random lines, I'll just do them whenever I get a chance. So that's a much different experience than, but yeah, Bloodstained, just totally like working on any other game, for sure. Yeah, it was well managed, for sure. Hey guys, welcome. Ray Chase, voice actor. I do, I love the farm joke.
Yeah.
This is just a free-for-all. Ask any questions you want. I'm open to anything. Go for it.
How long did it take for you to record all for 15?
1 day. It was really insane. No, okay. Could you imagine all in 1 day? Just, I don't even know if you could. We did like 10,000, 15,000 lines, something like that. If I could say all of Knox lines in 1 day, just in a 12-hour thing. That'd be a fun, like, crazy, like, charity thing to do. See if I could say every single line that we recorded.
By the end, you're just like so hoarse. It's like...
But it works for Knox, because he's hoarse anyway. It's okay. We did, so that was in 2014 was when we first started recording. And we did episode Dust Guy first. And I did the different voice, the Batman voice, for him, because we didn't know exactly how old he was supposed to sound and stuff. And he came out, he sounded really close to Gladio. And there was a month-long recasting process where they said, we don't want to have this guy do Noctis, let's find somebody else. And fortunately, the director, Keith Farley, stepped up to bat for me and said, no, you should give Ray another chance. And so it was, I happened to have a voice on my reel that was like a young Prince voice, and Tabata-san listened to that and he said, okay, have him try this voice out. And we worked on it for a month before I got the part again. But wow. Even all up until, because we recorded for 2 years after that, I always thought I was gonna lose it. So I'm really happy that I got to keep him.
Was there like story stuff from Japan that you recorded and then they were like, no, we're not using that anymore?
The only time that ever happened, it's also hard to remember because we did it for so long and you don't have anything to look at other than a sheet of paper in front of you that has words on it. The only thing that I remember that they cut was there was this part in Alticia where there's a kid who like comes and plays cowboys with Noct and the guys, and he shoots Noctis, and Noct goes, what am I supposed to do? And Prompto's like, just play dead, man, it's funny. And he's like, and he like plays dead. That was the only thing that I think was cut, probably because they had to you'd have to animate that whole thing. And I think none of the dialogue in the game is animated. So I think that, none of the dialogue requires blocking of any sort. And I think that line, because he's playing dead, you'd have had to animate, bring the mocap actor back and do all that stuff, so I think they just cut it. But no story stuff that I remember or any changes like that. And when I worked on it, it wasn't Versus 13, it was fully Final Fantasy. So yeah, there's no changes like that. Yeah, go for it.
I'm wondering, have you ever met the Japanese voice actor for Noctis?
No, Tatsuhisa Suzuki. I've never met him, but I'd love to, because we also share Eve from Nier Automata and Alphonse from Fire Emblem Heroes. So that would be really, really cool to meet him one of these days. I hear he's a really cool guy, and he's like a rock singer or something crazy like that. Yeah, go for it.
Kind of a two-part question. Do you keep in touch with the people that you work with? Like you were saying, the gentleman who plays Prompto, you kind of hang out with him some.
Oh yeah.
And did you have kind of someone who helped you into the industry, and do you keep in touch with them?
So I guess Robbie, Damon. So out of the 4, there's Robbie, Damon, who I see all the time because we do lava together, loud, annoying, and very annoying. We do a lot of cons together, and it's really fun. And with Max Middleman, the One Punch Man. So Robbie I see all the time, and we shared a lot of credits together. Chris Parson he's like a director at heart, and he really wants to do film directing, and he does a lot of voice acting, but he's not into it that much as far as like playing games and streaming and all that sort of stuff. So I don't see him very often. And Adam Crosdale does a lot of on-camera work. So he's on a show called Preacher, I think, and another show where he plays a vampire or something. So he's all around the world doing crazy stuff, so I don't see him that much very often, unfortunately. And then as far as people who got me into the industry, Matt Mercer really helped me for sure. I sat down, we used to be at the same agency, and we have very similar tones, and I brought him out to lunch and said, what the heck am I supposed to do? And he told me about, we sat down a couple of times, one where I was very first starting out, and once when I got Final Fantasy, I was like, what is going to happen? He was like, you're going to do conventions, so get used to it. And I didn't understand, it was so crazy. So he's awesome, and yeah, we still keep in touch, which is great. Yeah, he's also very busy, of course.
He's got a few heroes too. He's got a few characters he's done
In Fire Emblem Heroes, oh yeah, well yeah, Ryoma and Chrom for sure. He's in Smash, really fun stuff. Go for it, man.
What advice would you have for someone trying to get into professional voice acting?
So it's a long road for sure. It took me a good 3 or 4 years before I started, before I could quit my day job bartending. And when you're starting out, it's really fun to think of video games and animation as the cool things to do, but unfortunately it doesn't pay very well. And instead commercials and promo really do. So, and no agency will take you unless you have a really strong commercial demo. If you have really cool video game voices or animation voices, they'll say that's cool, but we're really interested in your natural commercial sound. And that's how I got my start, was working on commercials, because that's how you can. The very first thing you have to do is be able to devote as much time as possible to voice acting, which means not having a day job. So that I did Coke Zero for 3 years. I was the voice of Coke Zero, and that was a long-running gig, which was great. That's exactly what you want and what you need to start out with. For anime and video games, the other way you can make a living is just working on lots of stuff all the time. But you can only get there by working on one thing at one time. People hear it, you have to wait till it comes out, so then you can tell people about it. So it's a very, very long balancing act between commercial work and all the fun stuff. So for when you're starting out, invest in your commercial read as much as you do your anime and video game reads, for sure.
Thinking about that, did you always want to get into voice acting, or did somebody just come up and say, you got a good voice, you could probably do commercials?
A little of both, for sure, yeah. People always said that I had a good voice, but it's something that I've been playing around with my whole life. I made a demo when I was like 13 years old on a cassette recorder, and I wonder if I still have it. That'd be really cool to hear. I gotta go back and find it. But yeah, it was always something that I knew that I wanted to get into. As soon as I found out that people could do it, that the voices on your favorite cartoons were real people behind them. So I grew up mimicking cartoons and video games ever since I was a kid. Yeah. Any more questions?
How's your day? You doing great?
Yeah, thanks. Do I have a particular?
No, do you have a particular thing that you do before you record stuff? You probably have to avoid dairy stuff. It's like what stuff do you avoid? What stuff do you like? Do you have a special tea or whatever?
Yeah, as far as taking care of your voice, what do you do? What do you eat and drink? What can help? Yeah, definitely dairy doesn't help. They say that coffee doesn't help, but I always find that it really helps me for some reason. I guess loosen everything up. I don't know. You're supposed to do vocal warm-ups, but I don't really. They usually when you work on a game, they'll start you off gently, just doing stuff. I'm working on one game right now where they start you off. You do all the whispered lines first, and then you do all the projected lines first, and then you do all the yelling lines last. Yeah, and that's really nice. Not every game is like that, unfortunately, but it's really nice to have some developers who are into that. Yeah, please. Yeah, go for it.
Are you enjoying your con so far?
Yes, yeah. Like I said, or you might not have been here, Rudy and Adriana I worked with before. They're so passionate about it. I haven't been to a Final Fantasy ball yet, so I'm really excited to see what they come up with. Yeah. It's going to be really cool. Are you guys the cosplayers in the ball? Are you the official ones? No. No, you're not. Okay.
You're going to cry.
I'm going to cry?
Yes.
Oh, no. I'm very excited. Yeah, go for it.
You said you were cosplaying for it. Who are you going to be cosplaying as?
I wonder who I'm going to be cosplaying as.
Okay, I just asked just so everybody knows.
Yes. Yes, Iris.
Since you're playing poker, when are you gonna shave?
Oh, yeah.
It could be built up.
I shaved for when I cosplayed Noctis in EXP-Con.
Yeah.
So I already did that. Yes, go for it. Prompt over there.
We would like to know, Noctis and Prompto with Chocobo Racing, who would win?
Well, if I'm playing, Prompto beat me every freaking time. Prompto would definitely win. He's the fast one. And he sings about chocobos. He wants to ride his chocobo all day, guys. So yeah, Prompto would win for sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
Right here.
So how did Loud, Annoying, and Very Annoying start? I know it's with you and Max Middleman and Robbie.
And Robbie, yeah. It started weirdly. It was Robbie was like, hey, Max and Ray, we shared like 34 credits in this one year. We worked on all these things together. And we were all up-and-comers, and it was like, we were friends anyway. So why not make something out of it where we could go to cons together and do a live show? Because we perform. We do a live improv and sketch comedy show at cons. So that was Robbie's idea. And it was like kind of floating around. And then one day we went out to dinner with Adam Crosdell, who's Ignis. And he had never played the game before, and we were like, let's come over to my house and we'll play the game and show you what's up and hear your line. I've come up with a new recipe. And it was just a spur of the moment thing, and we said, why don't we stream this? This would be really fun. Maybe the fans would like it. And it blew up. It was crazy. We had 4,000 people on with us, and Kotaku wrote an article, and it was really fun. And thankfully, other people archived it, because we didn't know how to archive streams back then. So you can watch it on YouTube. But that was the very first day, and we were like, wow, streaming is really fun, although technologically difficult. So we did, we spent a whole year doing streams and get-togethers with other voice actors. It was really, really fun. We did a lot of streaming with the Overwatch people, and streamed the ending of Final Fantasy with Darren DePaul, voice of Arden. That was really, really cool. So it was just kind of an organic, crazy thing. And we go to cons together all the time. It's really, really fun.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the one at Sakura Con. It was really fun.
Yeah, you saw our show there. Yeah, that was really fun. Yeah, Prompto.
How would you feel if Noctis and Prompto ended up getting married at the end?
I get this question a lot for obvious reasons. It's not canon, for sure. And I guess the thing with, I don't want to spoil the game. This is the thing. Everyone's played the game. Has anyone not beaten the game? Yeah. Oh, so everyone's beaten the game. So you're okay.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, wait. You
No,
have,
I haven't.
See, I won't
I
even.
know how it ends. But
You know how it ends. Okay.
she's like, Luna can't die if she doesn't go out to show.
That's right. So you don't get on the boat. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
my friends
Prompto
were
doesn't
yeah.
die at the end of the game, but Noctis does. So you have, if they're in love with each other, you've got this. Is Prompto gonna kill himself? That's even sadder than the canon ending. That's the worst.
Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
No, oh God, no.
But you can always spend time in the tent together, hanging out. I think that's also canon too. Exactly.
So, like, I know you did the lines for Dissidia.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Before 15, were you a fan of Final Fantasy series at all?
So I grew up and I played the wrong Final Fantasies, which were Final Fantasy Legend 1, 2, and 3, and Final Fantasy Adventure, which were later removed from the series. Those were because I had a Game Boy, and that's all I played when I was a kid. So those were, but they had chocobos, and they had Sids, and they had like a lot of the stuff that was in the games. So I really, so I really enjoyed those games. I played a ton of RPGs, but the only one by the time I got to when I got the role of Noctis, the only one I played was 7. And so I went back and I played all of them in order, and it was really cool to see the series develop. I wouldn't recommend that everyone do that. It definitely takes a very long time, and some of the games are more frustrating than others for sure. But I got to see the whole series because I knew I was going to be asked questions about it for the rest of my life. Which ones do you like and all that sort of stuff. It was really fun to see the series change, for sure. I think 15 is a great addition to it.
So going off the last question, which Final Fantasy game is your favorite besides 15?
So I like Tactics. I think it's a great game, just solid. And War of the Lions is great. I think the voice acting is really top notch. Phil Lamar is Ramza, which is crazy. Ratbag from Lord of the Rings games, and Tactics is great, but as far as numbered ones, I really liked 8 a lot. I thought that was really great. I love the junction and draw system. I really liked 10-2 a lot. I liked class-based games where you're switching up your class a lot. I thought those were the most fun and creative. 5 had that too.
And 3.
And 3. 3 was not a fun game though. That was a terrible game.
14 though, did you?
Did I like 13? 14? Oh, I didn't play the online ones. I'm not an online gamer, unfortunately. I didn't grow up with that. It doesn't make any sense to me. Maybe one day I'll start an account, but it's so hard to sign up for it. Like, it's unbelievably difficult to start an account. I played 11 for a second, and it took.
It's not like
14 is better?
Yeah, 14 is more easy.
I still have to log into my Square Enix account. I don't know the password, and I tried to make a new one, and it said you already used this email. It's terrible. So I'm stuck, unfortunately. Maybe one day, but it's not my. I don't know. It's not my favorite part about video games. I'm a very antisocial gamer. Yeah, go for it.
Since loving Final Fantasy, though, have you been to any of the Friends concerts that play Final Fantasy?
Friends?
Yes, the Friends. It's the Final Fantasy Orchestra.
You mean Distant Worlds?
Distant Worlds.
Yes.
It used to be called Friends, and then it changed to Distant Worlds.
Oh, I didn't know it was called Friends. Oh, okay, cool. Yes, I have. I've been to 3 of them already. Really fun. There was one that I went to when E3 was in town in Los Angeles, and they said, we're going to premiere some Final Fantasy 15 music for the first time. And I went to it, and I sat down, and I wasn't announced. This was like 2 years before the game came out, and they did not play any. But it was cool, so I got to hear some music from 8 and 10, and it was great. It was really fun. Yeah, I think it's fun. I think it's still kind of annoying going to the concerts because they still only have a total of 6 minutes of 15 music, and it's not the best songs. It's Apocalyptic Noctis for 3 minutes and Somnus for 3 minutes. That's it. And 7 gets like an hour's worth of music. So I hope that changes in the years.
10. It happens with 10 a lot too.
10 has great music though.
But
I don't
my
mind
favorite
that.
though.
Yeah, I don't mind having 10 being represented, but too much 7. Way too much 7. Not enough 15 for sure.
Have you met Yoimatsu yet?
I have not met Uematsu-san. But we worked together. One of my first video games was called Oceanhorn, and that's been released for the Switch now. But it was an indie game way back in the day, and Uematsu did the music for that too. It was really cool. So he'll do like tons of little projects, which is awesome. I've heard that he's a really good guy in person.
I've only met him once when he came to St. Pete earlier this year.
Oh,
so
wow.
It was really neat. Meet and greet, unannounced last minute. I was like, oh, must buy.
That's awesome. I wonder what he was doing here.
He just came for the Friends when he did the Distant
Oh,
Worlds concert.
he did the concert
Yeah, he did
in
the
St.
concert.
Petersburg.
Yeah, and he unannounced it, and I had him sign 8 soundtrack. That was my favorite. So.
Perfect, yeah. It's a really, really good soundtrack.
Yeah.
And I love hearing the full orchestra as it's meant to be heard.
Oh, yeah.
It's really cool.
I'm just saying, at least the distant worlds that you went to did 6 minutes. We only got, like, when I went to the one in St. Pete, they only did the Apocalypse and Noctis, and then after that, we just shoved it under the rug. And 7, 8, and 10 mostly, and then actually no, it was actually 7, 6, and 10 mostly. That the one I got, which I was like, okay, what about 9 and?
Yeah, 9 has great music.
Yeah,
6 has
They had
some of the best.
opera at one of them.
Yeah, they did that.
Well, that's
the
from
opera
6,
from
yeah.
six.
That was
Well,
from
yeah,
six.
the
They did
opera
it
from
2
6
years
was
ago.
great.
That's beautiful, yeah. That deserves it. 7 doesn't deserve that much. Oh yeah, they're remaking it. It's funny because you don't hear anything for a year, and you're like, are they still remaking it? I guess they are.
It's kind of like when they did Final Fantasy Versus, 13 Versus, and you're like, okay, I heard this back in 2007.
Are they
It's
still
like-
working on it?
Yeah.
Anything Nomura works on, it just gets delayed.
Last I heard was 7, they had stopped working with the company they were working with, so a lot of that work has to be redone.
Oh my god, yeah.
They
Jeez.
said that they were going to wait till Kingdom Hearts 3 was done and then focus entirely on 7 eventually.
We'll see.
The trauma that's going through here now.
Yeah.
Noctis is going to be in World of Final Fantasy, the new one that's coming out.
Yeah, I'm confused. What is it? It's not World of Final Fantasy, it's called something else.
No, it's World of Final Fantasy.
Yeah, it's a World of
Well,
Final
there's
Fantasy.
one World Final Fantasy already out.
Yeah, World of Final Fantasy came out. I played Edgar in it from 6.
Yeah.
Yes,
Um,
yes, but Maximus coming out in November.
So
6th.
so what is Maxima?
It's like a DLC
Yeah.
attachment to it
Okay.
that's also coming out for the Switch. So it's like a brand new game for the Switch, but it's a DLC for PlayStation.
It's so confusing. So confusing. I haven't recorded anything for it, so I don't know when it's coming out, but hopefully I get to voice it. I don't know.
It comes out next month.
Next month?
So probably not
I'm
then.
not in it, that's for sure.
Do your 24-hour recording.
Nope, yeah, we usually, it usually has to be at least 3 months before because the ESRB has to review everything. So yeah, if it comes out next month, there's no way I'm in it.
I feel like it'd be a
unfortunately.
DLC then.
There'll be, that Noctis will be a DLC to the DLC?
Well, it's a fishing game with Noctis.
Oh, that would be really cool, yeah.
So it might just be a small mini game that doesn't really require voice acting.
Voice acting at all, yeah. Oh, well,
Just grunts.
yeah.
They pulled the lines from FF15. They're like, we're just going to move him to this one. We don't need him to re-record.
They do that for sure, yeah. That's just a hair playing with.
No. I just want to say congrats on getting your role for Katamatsu.
Thank you.
How's it going so far? Are you still going, or?
Yes. I think our director fell sick, unfortunately, and he was also writing it. So I think we're in a little bit of a production limbo for a while. But we've recorded 4 episodes. They're done. But we still have a long way to go. There's 52 of those guys. Yeah, but what a fun series to work on and get to play girl versions of ourselves and realistic versions. I'm excited for when we get to those episodes where we're like, because we've done the hot anime guy versions, which are really fun. But to do the there's that one really creepy episode where they're real people, and I don't know what the heck we're gonna do. So lots of really fun stuff to work on. I'm so excited too. Yeah, I can't wait to work on it again. Yes.
What's your favorite song from 15?
I love Cape Cayam is my favorite one. I listen to that in the car whenever I need to be in a good mood. It's so just relaxing and perfect. I love that song. I like all the town songs. Les Stalin is really good. I don't like Alticia's song. That Moogle Chocobo Carnival DLC where all you hear is that one song over and over again and the guy keeps saying, "Welcome to the carnival." God, that was madness. I hated that DLC so much. That was the worst. But you're able to now warp through Alticia, which is useful. That's the best part that came out of it.
Are you like superstition?
Am I superstitious?
Yeah.
No.
What kind of stuff you like to do before go to like the Q&A stuff?
Before Q&As, I like to take a shower, which I did this morning. That worked. Before sessions, though, I usually listen to video game music in the car. some of my favorite soundtracks, or if I know it's a Final Fantasy one, I'll listen to Final Fantasy music for sure. I'm a big fan of video game music that's out there, and all different incarnations, pixel, chiptunes, to the super orchestral stuff. I love it for sure. More questions? Several cameras, no questions. Yes.
If you were a superhero, what would your superhero name be, and what would your superpower be?
If I was a superhero, Robbie and Max are so good at this question. If I was a superhero, I'd have the power of bats. I would be called Batman. Yes. I think that'll work. What would I like? What I miss is, I would love to be able to stop time. That's it. Not even time travel, just to like stop and enjoy a moment for a while. I love hiking and going to beautiful places as much as I can. I'd love to just be able to stay there for a really long time. So I'd be called Stop Time Man.
Rayman.
What?
Rayman.
Rayman. That's already taken. And I wouldn't want my arms and legs to be invisible. I don't think that's very useful. So yeah, Stop Time Man will be fine.
The world.
The world. Yeah, yes. That would be really cool.
So if you can be any class in a Final Fantasy game, what would you main as?
I like you know what'd be fun are the gambling ones. I'm from Las Vegas, and I think it would be cool to do the gambling ones from like 10-2. I love it when there's some attacks in those games, like in 5, where you just throw Gil and that's your damage points. I think that'd be really, really fun. I love, and those costumes are always so cool with like a roulette hat or stuff like that. I think I'd want to represent my hometown for sure.
You mentioned hiking and traveling though, and with you working though, do you get to travel a lot and do a lot of hiking with traveling?
I don't get to. I get to travel a lot for cons, that's for sure, but never any time or place to hike, unfortunately. The one time we were able to was New Zealand, because we were gone out for 2 weeks.
Wow.
So that was we did a lot of outdoor stuff, but not a lot of time. I just came back from Scotland, where I proposed to my fiancée Julia, and we went up. They have these mountains in Scotland called Munros, yeah. And that's what we climbed up one of those while we were out there. And it was so freaking windy. I have a picture on my Instagram. You can see it.
What is your favorite place that you've been to, hiked, or gone top of the mountain?
Man, favorite place. What's cool is where I live, there's a hiking trail, about 2 hours, and you go up and you can see the whole city. And that, I don't know, even though I do that one all the time, it's still my favorite. It's just so interesting and varied and fun. There's another one in Los Angeles called Solstice Canyon. It's about an hour drive outside of town, but it's right along the beach, and you go up this cliff and you can overlook the ocean. That one's a really fun one too, but it's a long drive to get out there. That's the only problem. Yes?
If Matt asked you, would you go on Critical Role?
Of course, in a heartbeat, yes. Oh yeah, I'd love to. I don't think he does very many guests all the time.
Not a lot.
Not a lot, yeah. I think I have to be a little more popular before I get invited.
You guys can hook up with your schedules though.
Yes, no, that'd be great. I always keep Thursday nights open just in case.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you like Max or Robbie more?
I want to record this.
I don't like either of them.
Oh, too late.
They're both so different. Robbie's the guy, Robbie's a bro. And so he's the guy that you would go and do stuff, like bro stuff. Robbie's the one you'd go on hikes with, or like go beat up some people with, or go to the gym with. Although Max and Robbie work out all the time now. And Max is the sit down and chill guy. So he's the one who you'd talk about your feelings with, or sit down and play a video game with. So they're both totally different in that kind of respect. So yeah, I love them both. They're great. It's amazing that we found each other. Honestly, it's crazy.
So basically, Max is your therapist.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
There's
That's what
no
she was
rush.
Talking about Critical Role, do you play D&D?
I grew up playing D&D, of course, yeah. We would do like a bastardized version where we were kids, like all the rules were not perfect, but it was just more about having fun than worrying about the guidebook and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I definitely played when I was a kid, and I love doing one-shots in town. One of my good friends is trying to put one together, but it's so hard when you're an adult and everybody lives in different places and stuff. So that's, and the fact that I can't commit to weekends, because that's when cons are. That's when most people would want to play, but it's the one time that I can't. So yeah, I'd love to get one started up again. Yeah.
When you did do like anime voice dubbing, you know, are you just away from, because I know certain studios are in Texas, some are in California. Do you just stay location for months? Does it take that long, or is it just usually within a few weeks? Or
So I live in Los Angeles, very close to a lot of the studios. They're all in a city called Burbank, and I live just right outside there. And so that's every day, going into those studios and working on whatever they throw you in. Funimation is the one that's outside in Texas,
Okay.
and I have had the good fortune of being in two of their movies, the Fairy Tale movie and the My Hero Academia movie. And they just, the reason those opportunities came up is those are both such long, MHA isn't long running, but it's a lot of characters that are already cast, and they don't do a lot of double casting over there. But Fairy Tale's been around for a million years. They've just run out of old guy voices, and I can do that. So I think they ask, please, Patrick Seitz is usually my connection there. They say, Patrick, who do you recommend who can do a voice just like yours? And he goes, well, Ray Chase can. Why don't you send him over? So luckily they flew me out, and both of them were for one day, because they were just movies. So I did David Shield in My Hero for just took 6 hours, and then I flew right back. So yeah, those are, I love working at Funny. They're really, really cool to work with, slightly different directing style. It's interesting over there. I like what they do, and I love the shows that they work on. So yeah, it's a mixture of both. Yeah.
You were talking about the long production on 15. Was there any time where you were just like, where you just kind of forgot what Noctis sounded like? Like you were just trying to get your voice where it's like, you know, how do I match it to what you were doing like 4 or 5 months ago or something?
It's really cool that it works out that I even though I'm recording these lines totally out of sequence, that it all sounds the same.
Yeah.
And that's all, I think a lot has to do with the engineer, making sure recording in the same room and all that sort of stuff, and not aging too much in between sessions. It's, yeah, when you first start out on any project, you always get a vocal reference. What did I sound like? Like, for example, 7 Deadly Sins we worked on 2 years ago, and now the new one came out, the new season comes out, so they pull a reference track so that every session you remember what you sound like. But for Noctis, I only did that maybe once. After we changed the voice from his gravelier voice to the one that's in the game, we had to make sure that we stayed specific to what Tabata-san had selected during the recasting. Yeah, after a while you get to know the characters really, really well and their speaking styles. And they both inform each other. Like the localization team for 15, while here's the way that I deliver lines and writes lines based on that. When we worked on Dissidia, it was not done by Square, it was done by Koei Tecmo, and a different branch of Square came in and made sure that he was canon and that all of his lines made sense. But I was more of the officiator of like, no, Noct wouldn't really say these words specifically. That's too cool for him, or they definitely, the like lines that they would do, where Noctis was kind of cruel, and that's not really what Noct is all about. So I was able to be the balancer on that one. We have a few minutes left. Go for it.
Alright, so I know we've mainly been talking, about like Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
I gotta ask, 'cause this is kind of like my favorite thing that I know you work on. What's your experience in like Fire Emblem games?
Fire Emblem. Freaking love Fire Emblem. When I was a kid, I played Smash Melee, and Roy was my boy. Him and Dr. Mario were my two mains, and it's so rare that you get to voice someone that you played as a kid in this industry. You're always voicing new characters or taking over the reins from somebody else. But Roy, the fact that he was unvoiced in English for so long, they happened to come out with this mobile game. They happened to need a voice for him. I didn't audition for it. I auditioned for Alphonse and got that part. And they said, while you're here, why don't you give Roy a try? And that was like such a surprise and like what the heck? And I had only 15 minutes to record and come up with a voice. That was crazy. So I didn't think like, even after we recorded, it was like, a good 8 months before the game came out. I was thinking, oh, they probably ended up with somebody else because they just gave me a shot. But the fact that they used me is nuts. I'm still not over it at all. So yeah, being able to be Roy and Alphonse, two lords in less than an hour was nuts. And I remember when they were explaining Fire Emblem Heroes, the only game Nintendo had was Pokemon Go at the time, and that Super Mario terrible game. We just were trying to get our heads around. I was like, what is this? Are people gonna play this game? Does this make sense? I think Nintendo was kind of iffy about whether it would be a success at all, and so I'm so glad to see that it's been out for 2 years, right? And it's still going really strong, stronger than ever. It's nuts that they're able to make it balanced and fun and still give you reasons to come back. I recently got into it again, and they now have, because I played it day one, I love now that they have the tutorial stuff and they have all these extra features that weren't around, so they're always improving on that game. And you can wear hats, which that's really cool.
Quite a few.
Well, then which one would be your favorite Fire Emblem then?
I've only played 6 and 7, the Roy and the Ellawood ones. I played 7 when I was a kid because it was Game Boy, and that's all I had. And then I played Binding Blade. Once I got Roy, I was like, wow, find out what this boy is all about. Because when I played Melee back in the day, there's no way to play Binding Blade. There was no translation.
They didn't have emulators back then, so.
Yeah, well, yeah, there were emulators, but it was really hard to find, and I don't even think they had the translation. I would have had to play in Japanese. So yeah, now I've played both of those, but I haven't played the newer ones.
So nothing with Radiant Dawn or Path Radiance or anything?
I haven't played. I'm in Echoes. I played Fernand, but I haven't played it. Yeah, it's so busy, you guys. It's such a hard. The backlog is really real. What did I just beat Hollow Knight 2 days ago. Now I'm like, okay, good. That was 40 hours. Surprisingly huge game for an indie studio. Next, I think I have to play Fallout 76. I got to. Yeah. Even though it's online, I don't really like it, but you don't have to talk to people, so it's a little better.
Yeah.
Yes?
You could take over any role from anywhere. What role would you like to take over from anybody?
What role would I take over? I mean, I grew up doing the Mario voices. That'd be really fun to play Mario and Luigi and Waluigi and everybody. That would be great. But Charles Martinet, he's one of my idols for sure. If he ever retires, maybe he won't. He'll live forever. I hope he does. It'd be fun to audition for those ones. That'd be cool. Yes.
Other than Alphonse and Roy, who else from Fire Emblem Heroes is your favorite?
From Fire Emblem Heroes in my party, I had a Corrin, female Corrin for a while, and I don't want to get it out because I'll probably have to download an update and it'll take 7 years. I'm trying to think. I have a Roy. Oh, I have a Summer Gaius. I got him, and an Ike. I think just normal Ike. Nothing interesting about him. And I had a Kaeda for a while too. She was my flying one. So yeah, I like all those guys. I don't have very many orbs ever, so I'm never able to get good people. Yeah, I keep getting Donnells, and I'm like, God damn it.
I keep getting that weird old priest, and I'm like, this game.
Oh,
is
Wormer,
Yeah.
Wervis or something like that. Yeah,
Rice.
Rice. That's what it is. Yeah, Rice.
And I'm just like, this game hates me. This
Yeah.
game hates me.
RNG.
Go for it.
If you could voice any character from a game or anything else that hasn't been voice acted before, who would it be?
That hasn't been voice acted before, so upcoming stuff. You know what'd be cool
Or
is
not upcoming stuff, like old stuff too.
but that has been voiced. That
has not
hasn't.
been voiced.
Like
Has
stuff
nothing?
before they started doing voice acting video games, like maybe like Super Nintendo era.
Oh, like Chrono Trigger.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, I was gonna say for that, Cells at Work is really cool. I'd love to audition for White Blood Cell. I think that'd be fun. Old stuff. You know what? I was a huge Advance Wars fan when I was a kid, and I made up voices for all those characters back in the day. I'd love to play Olaf, the big Russian guy. That'd be really fun. If they ever bring Advance Wars back, which I guess they never will, but that was such a fun game back in the day. I would love to audition for Advance Wars, be Andy or someone like that. That'd be really cool. All right, guys, we only have a couple minutes. Any last burning questions? Yes?
Chocolate, vanilla, or strawberry ice cream?
Vanilla ice cream with lots of gummy bears.
Yes.
You travel a lot. Any books or podcasts you listen to?
I listen to a lot of podcasts. Yeah, my brother, and me every day. That's my main thing. I love Hardcore History is really good. Whenever he comes out with a new one, Spontaneation with Paul F. Tompkins is a great one. There's tons of that, and audiobooks I listen to a lot. I narrated a couple hundred. That's how I got my start, and that was. I don't recommend most of them because I was starting out and they're not very good. But I just finished Quantum Thief, which is a really, really good, crazy future post-human sci-fi book that came out like 15 years ago. It was really fun. Patrick Seitz recommended it. It was really, really good. Now I'm listening to one called Shogun, which is a historical fiction set in Imperial Japan, and it's 53 hours long. So I'll be with that one for a long time.
Yeah, we've been to the Pink Hot Dog.
Pink's Hot Dogs, yeah. I used to live right next to it on Melrose, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's great. Highly recommend it.
How about, yeah, because a whole bunch of celebrities always eating there.
I don't know. The hot dogs are named after celebrities, but I've never seen a celebrity there.
Oh.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, they always, because they have a bunch of pictures in there.
Yeah, I think there's the hot dog that I get is the Martha Stewart. It's really nice.
Okay.
It's got sauerkraut and stuff. Yes?
Okay, so for the Dissidia, who would you think Noctis would get along pretty well in the group?
It's so weird that they chose, Warrior of Light and Cecil are the guys he hangs out with. It's such a weird, group. Okay. I would love to see Noctin Squall talk, or not talk. I think that would be really cool.
But
yeah.
And my other one was who would he have trouble talking to? Like let's just say if they meet eye to eye, it's like electrifying tension.
Tension. I think. I'm just going through them all. It's funny. Bart's is kind of like Prompto anyway, so they get along really well. I don't. They do talk because they don't hang out, but there is that one scene where they meet, and I think they get along okay. It's just kind of awkward. What's it? We've got Tidus, Cloud. I think Cloud and Noct could hang out, kind of. Zidane, Tidus. I feel like I don't think there's anyone that he would hate. Noct hates bad guys. So I think he would hate Cloud of Darkness, and he would hate X-Death. He would hate. I think that's it. He's such a hero at his heart that as long as you're fighting for good, I think he's cool with you. I think as long as you're a villain, he wants to mess you up.
So you would like a clown.
Oh,
Kefka. He would mistake Kefka for Arden and go for his throat for sure.
Oh yeah. Well, Arden's outfit was based off of Kefka.
Definitely, yes. Yeah. That's awesome.
That's when they need to remake a 6.
Yeah, 6 remake would be fun. I'd love to voice Edgar again. That'd be great. All right, guys, I'm gonna do. I'll just walk over to the signing table right now. If you guys want to do signings, 2 free autographs. What?
Where is that?
It's in the vendor room.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't miss it. Yeah.
Okay.
Sweet guys, I'll see you over there.
All right.
Thanks for coming.